What's up, guys? Okay, here's the scenario. It's your first fight. We'll say it could be kickboxing, it could be boxing, it could be MMA. We won't go grappling tournament, but actually we can go grappling tournament as well. It could be any of these. How should you prepare for this? Now your preparation leading up to it is on you and your coach, but I'm talking about the day of the fights, right? So I see a couple of things, and I get the nerves, and I'm gonna explain this to y'all. But I see this happen a lot. I take a lot of my guys to these tournaments, these smokers, where a smoker is basically a kickboxing tournament, or they do boxing tournaments as well. Kickboxing or boxing, where people show up, basically sign a waiver, wear 16-ounce gloves and shin guards, big gear, and in fights, three rounds. And there's a judge, and it's basically a sparring session, but with a little audience. They'll invite people, sell tickets and stuff, but a sparring session with a little audience. And I see people warming up for an hour before the fight. I see people pacing back and forth. And I did this. Everybody's did this. Unfortunately, I had a coach tell me, "What are you doing? Why are you burning your energy out?" But I see this over and over, and no one says a word. It's mind blowing to me. They let their fighters warm up for 45 minutes to an hour, or 2 hours. They'll start. They may be the 12th fight on the card, and the fight the card hasn't even started, and they're already starting to warm up in the back. It's just mind blowing. So, just some advice, guys. On the day you fight, first of all, the night before you fight, you need to try to get sleep. If that means you have to take a sleep aid, I would say do it. If it means you take a ZzzQuil, now probably not NyQuil or something like that, because that may make you drowsy in the morning. ZzzQuil, I would say take that. My nutritionist has had me take that before. Take ZzzQuil to make sure you're rested before the fights. You can choose to do a warm up in the morning, a run through of 20 minutes of shadow boxing, 30 minutes of shadow boxing or pads if you want. Not all fighters do that. I probably didn't do that half the time in my career. I would just show up to the arena and I would warm up good there, but I didn't do in the morning as much. But I'm not even talking about like a pro fighter that is doing this. If you're fighting a smoker tournament, you're not really weighing in and you're just showing up and fighting, and if you're not used to training twice a day, you shouldn't be doing that anyway. But you need to rest your body. You need to get good sleep. You need to eat small portions. Fight day, eat a decent amount early on, but about 5 hours before the fight, I would say don't eat anything big. That was, a rule. I had that when I fought my second UFC fight. I fought and it was ridiculous. I was in the hotel. I ordered room service, and I ate like a big ass meal like 3 hours before the fight, and I ate a lot. Like it was salmon and sweet potato fries, and I ate so many sweet potato fries. And after the fight, I threw up everywhere, and I got checked by the doctors to see if I had a concussion because I threw up, but really it was just I ate a bunch of. I was just full of food. I didn't have nothing wrong with me. I won the fight. Everything was good, but I threw up everywhere. So and then my nutritionist basically tells me, hey, don't be eating any solid meals about 5 hours before your fight. So that's just some advice I'll pass on. My nutritionist is George Lockhart, who's one of the best MMA nutritionists pretty much of all time at this point. And he told me don't eat anything big 5 hours before the fight, so I try not to do that. Don't be pacing and walking around if you're new. Obviously, keep yourself hydrated, drinking water, but you have to limit it closer to the fight so you don't have to pee every 5 minutes. That's kind of based on you knowing how sensitive your bladder is, I guess, and if you're going to pee a lot or if you drink a bunch or not. So I would monitor that. That's something to pay attention to. What you eat, make sure you sleep, and how big of a meal you eat before fights, 5 hours preferably, and then making sure that you stay hydrated, but not too much that you end up having to pee every 5 minutes. So pretty simple instructions here. Nothing dynamic and nothing hard to follow. But make sure that you're getting good night's sleep and you're not getting to the venue and you're not pacing back and forth for 30 minutes. You're not warming up 2 hours before a fight. It's just not it's not a good idea. All it does is new fighters do this, and they have adrenaline up at the end of it, and then they go out there and they gas out, and they think they're out of shape. And part of it was, well, maybe because I get you're nervous, I get the nerves of being a new fighter, but part of it is because you warmed up for 2 hours and burned all your energy, and now you just had a collapse and an adrenaline dump. So something to think about. Also, make sure you're in phenomenal shape, because the only way that you can circum a adrenaline dump in a real fight, like let's say you're a new fighter, you're fighting a smoker, a boxing tournament, or an MMA fight, and you're new and the other guy's new. When both of you are nervous, both of you are new, the experience isn't there. A lot of this comes down to who's in better shape, for the fact that when you have an adrenaline dump, the only thing that's going to save you is cardio. Because it's just a matter of who has the bigger will at that point. If both people are exhausted, and you run into times, there's going to be fights like that where it's just going to take everything out of you, even if you're not new. But when you are new, it really does. When you're new, you really get drained. So something to think about, guys. If you're new to martial arts and looking for a guide to find a gym near you, get my book, The Ultimate Guide to Choosing Your Martial Arts School and Instructor. Link is in the description below. And any other subjects you'd like me to go over, just let me know. Thank you, guys.